any gyms that you've walked into that were just blew you away that this is a home gym?
Routinely. And actually, before we came on this trip, I think I made the comment to Tanner, like, okay, we've seen some just insane places. Like, let's be real, like nothing really surprises us anymore. Like, it's just, you just have more of it than maybe the previous guy. It's just, it's nothing surprising though. And then now there's been like 3 times this trip we're like, all right, man. Yep. I'm surprised again. Like it's just impressive how people can continue to take this to a bigger level. And you know, whether that's through machines or vintage equipment or just the way the entire space is built almost like a commercial facility. We still get surprised. Yeah. And the surprises are always in good ways. We haven't had any surprises yet that have been to a negative level.
Torture chambers in the basements.
Oh, really?
You don't get stuck out of yet or anything. But to name some specifically that just for people listening, it's worth going to check out just because you honestly got to see it to believe some of it. So his name's Efren in Southern California. He probably has the largest collection of vintage weights in the world. I mean, he's one of the large. That's his gym. It's maybe like a 3-stall garage. Honestly, watch the tour. Not self-promotion. Just like if you're listening, you'll get the point of reference of what I'm talking about here. But it is a museum, and not just in the sense of he has this old stuff. He has displayed it. It's all lit and displayed, and like it is a museum. If you're into equipment, he has like the world's best museum on plates, barbells. You know, he's got, this was used in the 1948 Olympics in
Great Britain.
And you know this.
And I mean, he's a historian. You know, he knows the full fact. He has stacks and stacks of magazines from the 50s and 60s that he studies, and he starts putting together the dots of this is connected, because a lot of this stuff gets lost through time.
Yeah,
you know, this company popped up and made weights for 5 years and disappeared, and he's connecting the dots on this stuff. And if you have any interest in that, it's so incredible to watch. You know, I don't have a whole lot of love for this vintage thing. Like I never got it. And then I left there. I'm like, man, this is impressive. Like this is interesting. This is cool. And
whether you're into it or not, there's no doubt that that is a one of a kind place. Like it's like an awe-inspiring thing to go through it.
Yeah. And then on the flip side of that, you know, you go to somewhere like Jujimufu's where it's a commercial facility that one guy happens to own, and you know, it's like a gym playground. You know, anything goes there, and you can make it all happen. And there's levels through that where you look at homes. You know, someone that you had some experience with some weights too recently.
No Way Jose.
Yeah, his name is No Way Jose, and he's a competitive power lifter. He's gonna try and make the Mexican
IPF
world team here, and he has a real shot at it. And you go into his gym, and it's in his basement, and that thing is curated to perfect. I mean, he has the full Eleiko comp set that was used at Worlds. He's got, I don't know, 5-6 prime machines that he's managed to disassemble and get down into his basement. I mean, these are machines with weight stacks.
Yeah, I know.
And, but you walk in, you're like, I don't know if this was in my town, this would be the nicest gym that exists.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then there's just every level in between that of guys that are doing some DIY stuff.
That's the interesting stuff too. DIY,
really inventive.
The DIY stuff that we've personally been like, you should be trying to sell this.
There was two yesterday where I walked away. I'm like, how does a company not sell this? This is better than anything I've seen on the market. It's more efficient. It's easier to set up. And I'm like, how do some of these things not exist? And you know, that's another thing that is coming around though, where these guys do tinker and mess around with a lot of stuff in their gym, and they are coming up with some really cool product ideas. Yeah. Because you know, maybe someone more in our line, it's like, yeah, you show up, you take care of the program for the day, and you get out of there. Where these guys are just like, oh, what could I do to make that better? And they're sitting and stewing on the idea for days on end. And then they have the technical know-how to make stuff out of wood or 3D.
And they've all got 3D printers, and they're all coming up with stuff 3D.
And then you know, they've through the network have gotten familiar with metal fabricators or even these companies. And so you're starting to see these companies, you know, teaming up with people and bringing some pretty cool stuff to market, actually.
There's things that some people will approach me like, this is the greatest idea. And there's things that they don't understand.
You know, yes, we do talk about that a lot.
Yeah, yes, we've said that a lot, where actually just the idea a lot of times is the easy part.
Yes.
Can this be produced? Can this be mass produced? Can this be marketed?
Can you do it at a price that ever would make sense to sell
when you do all those things, is it a business in a way that like it produces a profit? Because maybe no one's done this because at the end of the day, you can't actually make money doing this.
Yes.
And a lot of people maybe forget that from idea to product, there's about 100 steps along the way.
Yes.
And almost every one of those boxes need to be checked before you actually have an item.
And each one of those boxes cost money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, that the company would have to put into, and then you still don't have proof of concept. So then you could get all through this, make sure it's not already patented, which
Yeah.
a lot of things
And that's another one too. Like just because you have the idea, it doesn't mean there's
stuff,
5 other patents that may be infringing or
there's
conflicting
probably a
with you, right?
really good chance there are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So then it's like, you got to find if there's a way around all that. But once you get through all that, then you get to that point where, okay, here it is, the minimum that can be made, you know, because the steel.
That's
that
another
has to
huge,
be-
yeah.
Deadlift bars are a good example of this one because we used to sell Texas Deadlift Bar, then
Yep.
parted with them during COVID. They wanted to go direct to consumer. I get
Yep.
it. Have no problem with that. It makes more sense. But then to do our own, you know, the amount of steel that, because of the diameter,
27 millimeters.
yeah,
instead of 28 and a half or 20.
yeah, there you go. And the amount of steel that has to be purchased just to make that is equal to 800 bars, right? With the most we ever sold,
Oh, 800 bars, like that's an investment, you know.
well, the most we ever sold in 1 year was 70. Right? It's like, I don't understand why you guys
decade
don't
supply.
do that. I'm like,
10-year
a
supply is
decade supply, you know, and that's still not going to be at the price that they're going to want.
Right.
You know, that's
right.
just the price.
That's
to
the
be able to-
entry price
Yes,
for you to be
just
able to even consider doing it. Yeah.
you know, or if it even comes down to 50 pieces or whatever it's going to be, it's kind of like the t-shirts. You know, you put it out, maybe, but now you could be sitting on 50 of those and now you're 10 grand out.
Yeah.
And the person's like, what the fuck, man? That was my idea. They're selling it. And
Yeah.
like, we sold 3, dude, you know?
Yes.
But something will pop through the pipeline, but there's those steps, you know, that kind of fall into all that. Then there's also the other shitty part to where somebody may see it and just steal it.
Exactly. Yes.
which
Like
will happen.
a smaller company or person might be able to move way faster than, you know, these
Yeah.
massive behemoths of companies that
Yes.
exist nowadays.
Yes. So but I think most tweaks to any piece of equipment has come through that same process.
True.
If it's somebody in a gym where it's like this,
Well, and everything is just a variation of something. I mean, how often is something like, we've never seen this before? It's like, well, there's product categories and then there's just twists on that. You know, everything's building off of something else. It's all a remix. Nothing's really
good.
original.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you have enough time, and with AI, we'll be able to find it sooner.
Yeah.
You know, because you can track everything back to even before it was patented to somebody else that was fucking around kind of doing the same thing.
Right.
You know, with all that. So I kind of see how the knockoffs, and that's a bad term, you know, because I don't even see it as that, because there's always going to be lower price alternatives for everything. You know, I'm sure somebody's got a chicken bake that's half the price of the chicken bake, you know, to be able to go.
They actually sell a 6-pack in the frozen aisle, but
Yeah.
we've been told that the macros on that do not align with the food floor ones.
Yeah.
It's not.
And the made in the USA really doesn't mean shit either, you know, so that throws that other loophole in there where if you want to try to do it in the USA, most people don't give a shit. They care way more about the price.
Yeah, most people have a budget and it's either, can I do this or not? And
Yes.
if the only option was made in the USA, a lot of people would be like, I'm not doing it now because that's just not an option.
Well, the customer won't pay it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's just the fact, you know, where importing is going to be cheaper, but then with the importing comes quantity, you know, to be able to get, you know, to do it, you got to bring in 200 pieces or whatever it's going to be. And it kind of goes into that weird ass rabbit hole but with a lot of these people, what I would suggest if they're doing, what do you say it? Laser, it's not laser.
3D printing. Yeah.
Sell it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what we've told. It is now. That's kind of the start of Massonomics was, we had a t-shirt idea. You have an Instagram account. You pay the $20 a month to start. I mean, there's 1,000 little website builders. That's the proof of concept right there.
Yeah.
And if you don't need to build a $5,000 website and pay a marketing agency thousands of dollars to take product photos for this and this and this just to see if something works. It's like, you go build the most basic website, you take a few pictures with your phone, you put it out there. There's Facebook groups, there's Discord groups, there's social media, and that's your proof of concept. You could be in for maybe a few $100s, and you know, maybe you spent tens or hundreds of hours of time to figure this out, but you can be in, test the waters, and if it starts resonating, all right, start funneling some of that money back in.
Yeah.
And you can reiterate and start building this up.
I mean, best case scenario, they're going to sell 1 or 2 a week. like they can probably print that.
Right.
I mean, now if somebody orders 1,000, that's like not gonna.
Well, but
That's a good problem to start to figure
that's
out.
a great problem to have.
Yeah.
You're on a different level. Now.
Yeah.
You got different things. But it's not like back in the days, I've heard you guys talk about this where you're taking out a magazine ad in the back of whatever and hoping someone sees that. Like, you can get the word out, especially if you have something that's new, novel, interesting. The community is always looking for the next thing, and that will resonate with people. And the word will get out if it is.
Then if they say, look, we've sold 300, then they approach a company, there's that proof of concept. Then that makes more sense. But they may also decide, I don't want to do that because I like the full profit.
Right.
And more than
I don't want to hold it.
I like this being a hobby, and it's not all consuming. I don't have 1,000 customer service inquiries that because just one thing leads to another. And
of course,
like growth isn't always good for the sake of growth. At some point, you can be happy with certain things being what they are.
Yes. So what else have you seen through the community since the pandemic? Because there's been ups, but right now it seems to be decreasing.
Right. Well, there's
and it's going. Put this out there. It's going to decrease because the increase was
a weird boom,
a very weird boom.
Yeah. Right.
So what the question is, where is it going to plateau?
Right.
So just because I think powerlifting is decreasing right now too. Like, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's still over where it was before it increased. But where's that plateau? That plateau will probably be higher than when it started. Right.
Yeah, and in the home gym world too, there are trends and shifts, just like everything else. Like in powerlifting, there's in training styles, it'll come around to where, RPE is popular or whatever style programming, it shifts and comes back. It might have a different name, same sort of thing. But the home gym, even the home gym equipment space is kind of like that.
The belt squat cycle, the Smith machine cycle, the adjustable dumbbell cycle. Like, there is the one that you can see companies latch onto, like, ooh, there is some room for innovation in this market, and a ton of marketing dollars, R&D dollars go at that. And you can see when those happen in certain years that's what's getting pushed. And what we always talk about is like, we're not the strongest people in the world. We've been training a long time, but we know what it takes to get stronger. And it's like, but I get there's some hype around this, but does this even fit in what I do for training? Like take a step back and be like, yeah, that's really cool and everything, but do I even use that? Like, it was available in the commercial gym and I didn't use it. Why do I think I need to make room in my home gym for this? Yeah. So it's just reminding yourself that, like, don't get caught onto these trends just because it's getting pushed down your throat. Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, where do we see it going? I don't know. Well, this was a thing we just talked about recently, is as barbells. There was, when Massonomics started, you wanted a deadlift bar. It was like, you can find a reseller for a Ricky Dale bar. Crane. You somehow this website and kind of a website. And maybe get your hands on an Oki deadlift bar. It was like every bar was kind of like this. You had to know a guy that knew a guy. And now it's like, you want a bar, that's a commodity. Like, pick your flavor, pick your finish. There's 1,000 options, and and none of them are bad. Once you get past, like, I don't know, $250, you got a pretty damn good bar. Yeah, for the average person. Yes. Right. And it's just like, you can't, there's not, like, back in the days, like, maybe you don't want the cap one with the bolt in the end. Like, that's probably going to bend once you get a little weight on there. But now, like, people just make good products. So you're starting to see these things mature of like, well, the barbell space, it kind of feels like that problem's been solved. And then specialty bars, and we were talking about this a little bit. It felt like for a while you were seeing all these new specialty bars popping up, and I don't know, the 2015s even until somewhat recently. But now again, we've seen a lot of specialty bars, like that market's maturing. And then there was the machine thing, is what we were just talking about recently on the podcast, is some of these spaces have just matured so much and there's just not a lot of room left, or there's no that easy low hanging fruit. And so people are starting to move more towards machines in their home gym. And that's a whole nother level when you're talking machines from a price standpoint, a space standpoint. It's kind of crazy. Before the pandemic, it would be pretty easy to say plates, dumbbells, even kettlebells, they were all commoditized. Right. Yeah. You could find them, in marketplace for cents on the pound. Yes. It will go back. It probably is there again now. Like, it would, if it was a home gym person, back when I was doing the sales, I would tell them, like, I can get you the plates, dude, but just
look in your news classified ads.
Right.
You can probably, there's somebody down the street.
High school got all new weight plates.
Yeah,
They just
I mean,
want someone to take these things.
Yeah, it's like, it's stupid to buy a new plate. It's a fucking plate.
Yeah.
You know, just get the plates. And bars are that way now as well. Back then, I don't think the bars were as, but
Yeah, the
now
tolerances have been, geeked out on
Yeah.
so hard. People are paying attention, and companies have responded and stepped up.
yeah, and there's more better bars.
Right,
You know,
right.
so before it was like a Texas Power bar was really it, and
Right.
I mean, you get in deadlift bars and squat bars, but they don't sell the way people think they sell. That it's just not like we used to sell a 65-pound Mastodon squat bar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It sold like 4 a year.
Yeah.
And then when we no longer sell it, people are like, "Oh, I can't believe you quit selling it." I had the same 5 in the warehouse for 6 years. Man.
You should have bought a few more when we were selling it.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing, though, of what people think they want versus what they actually spend their money on are two wildly different things.
Or they can't pay the price, or they don't want to pay the price that it's at because you can only produce small quantities.
Right.
Of what that is. And where with the specialty bars, I think what happens there, because I got a fuckload of specialty bars and still kind of working on them now, is I'll sit there for hours trying to think of what could be a different thing. And it's so saturated. And it's not saturated. Like, everything's been made.
Right.
But,
feels
but the other side of my brain is like, no, it hasn't.
Yeah, there always is something
There's
else.
always something else. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're getting a smaller piece of what what's available, though.
Or I'll get an idea behind one, and then I'll run it through the fabricator. Then I get the price back, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I can't sell it for what this is going to be. Or I could, and everybody's going to bitch, and
Yeah.
it's just a crazy thing. But the machines, that's a weird one in my brain, because I see it happening because we have people purchase some of the things. And what's weird to me is they already have the place, and it doesn't have, like, where's the space going to go? You're like, where's
You
this
always find
go? It's different though when it's a one-car garage.
There is only so many
Space, man. It's not like you can move shit around.
Right.
It's like, what,
Well, and that's the one thing we've seen, though, is for us, it's, we know what we need to get, we know, you might need your mono, we might need a rack, whatever, you need your key pieces. And a lot of things is people kind of have their turn with something where it's, I want this machine for 6 months and I used it and I got what I want out of it. And now I'm kind of like a car. I get out of it and I'm ready for an experience with a new one for 6 months.
Yeah.
And
wow,
that was
what's the depreciation of that?
well, yeah. I mean, and there is, some guys do a good job of playing the used market, but
Yeah.
it is, people just want these experiences with different machines for a while. And that's part of the new novel experience of it all.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy though too, because if it's a selectorized machine,
Yeah. There's some labor in just getting that moved around too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. It reminds me of, Matt still does some installs now that he'll come back and be like, man, this was on the 3rd floor, and, or this was, and we had to be taken all the way down, and every, the weight stack, you could carry 4 plates at a time.
Yeah.
It's just, oh God, the labor is something to be able to do that.
One thing we were talking about is like, let's say the SS yoke bar, you said that, what did that come to market 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah,
something like
probably
that.
15 years ago.
I mean, when that started, for the most part, was it going to gyms, right? Like commercial gyms, private powerlifting, things like that.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
I mean, back then, were you selling any to some guy in his house? Like maybe a few?
A few.
But like, has that changed a lot? Like, did you ever see that going as much, maybe home gyms as it is now?
On that one, probably.
Okay.
On that one, probably. Some of the other items, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like the, say, glute ham raise and stuff like that. That kind of always went there.
Right.
And reverse hyper would kind of always go there. Certain pieces would kind of always go that direction. Specialty bars would kind of go that direction. But things like lat machines,
Yeah.
that they're a big up click there.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah,
It's usually
this
it's like,
huge machine.
Everyone wants the cable. Everyone wants the selector. That's in the home gym stuff. That is.
which is ridiculous to me. It's like, you can get a plate loaded one, dude. You already have the plates.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of plate loaded shit, even for a lot of the stuff I have out here.
Yeah.
It's like, why spend the extra cost for the selector? But I get it.
It's nice.
If you're a
It is
lazy
nice.
fuck, it's way easier.
It is.
It's way, way easier for that. trying to think of some of the other there's been some weird ones though, like the standing push press, like that's like a weird one.
Okay.
That's making its way into home gym.
Yeah. Like that,
You know, a thing though, and I pick up more because we do all these home gym tours, you know, you talk about the plate loaded versus the select rise. It's interesting whether there's people, like I said, on the spectrum of how much they lift, how much they collect, but a lot of people now, a big trend is the strength curve of the machine, you know, and this is even home gym guys talking about the strength curve of the machine.
I didn't even understand this concept until like a month ago.
So the plate loaded machine, maybe it's not loaded as much at the bottom half of the rep as you want, but then you get the selectorized one with the certain shaped cam that the cable travels on that makes the bottom end of the rep heavier. So it's a better machine.
Just put a band on it.
Correct. Yes.
No,
right,
I get it.
But that is the number, the percentage of people that I see talking about that, where like I've owned a gym for 10 years. The first 9, I never even thought about that. I was just like, oh, it's a leg extension. We needed a leg extension. Perfect. I don't even really care if it's plate loaded or select right. And then I need a leg extension that feels decent.
It's the sickness that gets in your head, though. You're like, am I leaving gains out there because the leg extension isn't loaded optimally at the bottom?